Drift doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive with a warning. No single decision to walk away. Just a slow, quiet distance that grows one unnoticed day at a time, until you look up and realize how far you've moved from where you used to stand. And the scariest part isn't that it happened before. It's the quiet fear underneath everything. What if it's already starting again and I can't tell? Stay with me. In a few minutes, we're going to pray for something specific, not rescue from drift that already happened. Protection from the drift that hasn't started yet. You remember what it felt like the last time. The slow fade. The way prayer became a formality before it became absent altogether. The way you didn't notice the distance growing until it had already become normal, until being far from God felt less like a crisis and more like your baseline. And you came back. You know what it cost to come back. And now there is a new fear living underneath the relief of having returned. What if it happens again? Not dramatically. Not through one bad decision you could point to and guard against. Through the same quiet, invisible erosion, the kind that doesn't ask permission, doesn't announce itself, doesn't give you a clear moment to resist because there is no clear moment. Just the accumulation of small choices to skip, to delay, to let the relationship go quiet for one more day. You are watching yourself now in a way you didn't before. Checking. Am I drifting? Is this normal busyness, or is this the beginning of the thing I swore wouldn't happen again? And the watching itself has become exhausting. Because vigilance, however well-intentioned, is not the same as closeness. You can monitor the distance without actually closing it. You can be terrified of drifting and still, somehow, be drifting, just more anxiously this time. That is not a flaw in your character. That is the honest condition of someone who has been hurt by their own distance before and does not want to be hurt by it again. And there is a difference between fearing the drift and being anchored against it. You have been doing the first. Today is about the second. Here is something that should change how you've been trying to prevent the drift. You cannot out-discipline distance. Vigilance, willpower, the daily checklist of spiritual practices performed correctly. None of that is what actually keeps a heart close. Those things can coexist with a heart that is quietly drifting underneath them. Discipline manages behavior. It does not, by itself, keep love alive. What keeps you close is being drawn. Song of Songs chapter 1, verse 4 captures something that should completely reframe the prayer you came here to pray. Draw me after you, let us run. Not, I will discipline myself to stay close. Draw me. The prayer is not a resolution made in your own strength. It is a request for movement that originates outside you, for something to pull you forward faster than your own effort could carry you, the way a current pulls a swimmer further than their own strokes would take them. You are not asking to be strong enough to resist drifting. You are asking to be pulled too strongly toward him to drift at all. That is an entirely different posture. One is exhausting, a constant, anxious self-monitoring. The other is relational, the daily, simple request that he do what discipline alone cannot. Keep your heart oriented toward him by his pull, not your performance. Draw me, and I will run. Not because running is easy. Because being drawn changes what running costs. There is a moment in the Bible where two women stood at the exact same crossroads, and only one of them stayed close. Ruth and Orpah. Both married to sons of Naomi. Both widowed in the same season, in the same foreign land, facing the same uncertain future. Naomi, preparing to return to Bethlehem, told them both the same thing: go back. Go back to your mother's homes. Go back to what is familiar. And the text is careful to show us that both women wept. Both loved Naomi. Both, in that moment, clung to her. This is not a story about one woman who loved and one who didn't. It is a story about two real, loving people standing at the same fork and choosing differently. Orpah kissed Naomi, wept, and turned back toward Moab. Not out of betrayal. Out of the ordinary, understandable pull toward what was familiar, comfortable, known. Her drift was not dramatic. It was reasonable. It was, by every external measure, the sensible choice. And Ruth said something else entirely: where you go I will go, and where you stay I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Notice what she did not say. She did not say, I will try not to drift back. She did not promise vigilance. She made no claim about her own strength to resist the pull toward home. She simply chose the direction of staying close, completely, without a backup plan. She left herself no easy road back to Moab. No safety net of maybe I'll return if this doesn't work out. She bound herself to Naomi's people, Naomi's God, Naomi's uncertain future, entirely. And here is what the rest of the story shows. Ruth's closeness was not maintained by her constant vigilant fear of drifting. It was maintained by the direction she chose at the crossroads, and the daily, ordinary faithfulness of staying oriented toward it. Gleaning in the fields. Showing up. Staying near. Not anxious. Just close. You don't have to imagine what it feels like to stand at that fork. Comfortable distance on one side, costly closeness on the other. You already know that feeling. You've stood there before, and the drift won once. But Ruth's story is not primarily about Orpah's failure. It's about what becomes possible when you choose the direction of nearness and don't leave yourself an easy way back. She became part of the lineage that led to Jesus. Closeness, chosen at a crossroads, changes everything that comes after it. Here is what fear of drifting again does that nobody names. It keeps you focused on the wrong variable. You have been watching the distance, measuring it, checking for early signs, trying to catch the drift before it becomes undeniable. And all of that watching keeps your attention on the thing you're afraid of instead of the one you actually want to be near. Ruth did not spend her journey to Bethlehem monitoring herself for signs of wanting to turn back. She simply kept walking in the direction she had chosen. The choosing happened once, decisively, at the crossroads, and then the daily faithfulness was just continuing in that direction, not constantly relitigating the decision. This is the difference between fear-based closeness and chosen closeness. Fear-based closeness asks, "Am I drifting?" Every day. Anxiously. It treats nearness as something perpetually at risk, requiring constant defense. Chosen closeness asks a different question. Which direction am I walking? And then it simply keeps walking that way, not because the temptation to turn back disappeared, but because the direction has already been decided and doesn't need to be redecided every morning. You do not have to refight the crossroads every day. You can simply keep walking the direction you've already chosen, drawn forward by someone who is pulling you, not just monitored by your own anxious vigilance. That is sustainable. The other way exhausts everyone who tries it. Let's slow down. Not to assess how close or far you currently are, that assessment is exactly the anxious loop we're stepping out of. Just to choose a direction, the way Ruth chose hers, and let that be enough for today. Begin with your breath. Inhale, and instead of checking yourself for drift, simply notice, you are here. Present. Turned toward this moment. That is the direction right now, in this breath. Exhale, and release the pressure. Just for this breath. You don't have to monitor the distance to stay close. You only have to keep choosing the direction. Now, say, internally, the simplest version of Ruth's commitment. Not a vow about your future strength. Just the direction. Where you go, I will go. That's it. Not a guarantee against ever drifting. A direction chosen again, today. Psalm 73 verse 28 says it with quiet, settled clarity. But as for me, it is good to be near God. I have made the Lord my refuge. Near. Not perfectly vigilant against distance. Near. The refuge is not your discipline. It's Him. And refuge is where you go to rest from the watching, not where you go to watch more carefully. Be near today. That is the whole assignment. Tomorrow gets its own near. Close your eyes if you can. Bring the fear, the specific one, the quiet one underneath everything, the one that watches for signs of the drift starting again before you've even had breakfast. This is where the watching finally gets to rest. God, I don't want to drift without noticing it again. I know what it cost the last time. I know what it felt like to look up and realize how far I'd moved from where I used to stand. And I have been so afraid of that happening again that I've turned myself into a constant watchman over my own heart, checking, measuring, never quite resting. I'm tired of watching. I want to be drawn instead. Jesus, draw me after you. Not because I will discipline myself perfectly. I won't. Not because I have the strength to resist every pull toward distance. I don't, fully, and I never have. Draw me. The way you drew Ruth's heart toward a direction she chose once and then simply kept walking. I choose the direction today. Where you go, I will go. Where you lead, I will follow. Your people are my people. Your heart is the one I want mine to beat near. Not as a vow about tomorrow's strength, as today's direction. And if I drift, gently correct me before the distance becomes normal. Don't let me wake up one day having forgotten what closeness felt like. Keep me near enough to notice when I wander, even slightly. Keep my conscience tender. Keep my hunger for you alive, even on the ordinary days when nothing dramatic is pulling me away, just the slow current of forgetting. I think of Ruth, leaving herself no easy road back. I want that kind of closeness, not the anxious kind that watches the door, but the settled kind that simply keeps walking toward you because that is the direction I have already chosen. Make your nearness my refuge, not my vigilance. You led my heart today, not my schedule only, not my behavior only. My heart, the actual center of where my attention and affection are oriented. Led it toward you, and let that be enough to keep me close, not because I never feel the pull elsewhere, but because you are pulling stronger. Draw me. I will run. Amen. The silence of someone who has stopped watching the door and turned, instead, toward the one who is drawing them. You came here afraid of repeating something that already cost you once. And something shifted, not a guarantee that you'll never drift again, but a different posture toward the fear of it. You moved from watching the distance to choosing the direction. From anxious vigilance to settled nearness. Ruth didn't spend her life monitoring herself for signs of wanting Moab back. She just kept walking the direction she chose at the crossroads. That direction led her into the story of everything that mattered. You don't have to refight today's crossroads tomorrow. You only have to keep walking the direction you've already chosen, drawn forward, not just self-policed. Come back tomorrow. Not to check for drift. Just to choose the direction again, the way Ruth did, one ordinary day at a time. If this reached you today, leave a word in the comments. I'm choosing to stay close. That's it. We will pray for you. And someone watching, standing at their own crossroads, will see it and choose the same direction. And if someone you know is afraid of drifting again, send this. Just, the direction matters more than the fear. Here. You were known before you knew yourself. You still are.